Bitcoin bounced exactly from the support I mentioned in yesterday's video, and right now I have opened up a new trade like I also said in yesterday's video. Only unfortunately we just got a partial order filled, so that means that we're only in on this trade with an approximately $700 instead of an approximately $400,000. So I will be talking about this, where Bitcoin is likely heading towards next on today's update video. So without any further ado, don't forget to slap up that like button back above 900 on today's update video. That will be absolutely insane. And with that being said, let me jump straight away in towards the imminent short term. If you have been following me on Twitter or on yesterday's update video, this was the price action I was expecting from of this point onwards. And yesterday I also even made an emergency video here on my YouTube channel saying that Bitcoin is probably going to be dumping lower towards the exactest region I have been discussing. So Bitcoin went down towards this region and straight away after that created somewhat of a V-shaped recovery, and right now looks to be consolidating a little bit sideways. So what is the next move going to be for Bitcoin? We want to be looking at that right now. So honestly, on the 1 hour time frame, we have 2 or 3 big support targets below us. We found support on that 40.6k level yesterday, but if we potentially see another move towards the downside, Bitcoin breaks below 40.60k, guys, honestly, the next big support for Bitcoin is 39.7k, and I still think, even though we've right now seen that significant bounce, that potentially Bitcoin can still come towards the downside and hit 39.7k, and that is also why I have still set multiple orders up around 39.7k as well. So still taking this level very seriously right now for Bitcoin, and honestly, we are still trading in a downtrend right now for the imminent short term, so I won't be actually surprised that this is going to be continuing towards the downside until we're seeing Bitcoin create a different structure. Potentially what could be possible is that Bitcoin creates somewhat of a new consolidation phase before once again having another breakout. So make sure to just watch towards this YouTube channel, keep an eye out on my Twitter, because I will be posting all the updates if we're seeing a new consolidation phase here on my socials. Further on, I think currently the biggest resistance is going to be $42,000. That was of course previously around big resistance, but once we broke above it, we flipped it into support, and ever since we start to be breaking below it, that was of course the point I was expecting Bitcoin was going to be having another big crash towards the downside, and that is exactly also what happens for Bitcoin. So very, very interesting to be seeing this playing out here, and now I'm honestly expecting that this level is going to be flipping into resistance. But of course, like you know here, I've been predicting these Bitcoin moves very well due to one, and that is of course the Bitcoin liquidation heat map. And currently, if I'm actually looking at the liquidity heat map, we can see that it is starting to become a little bit neutral, but there's not necessarily a big amount of liquidity laying above us or below us. So honestly, due to that, I mean, yeah, there is a significant amount of liquidity sitting around $38,000, but it's not that significant compared to the entire trend. And due to that, I'm not going to necessarily say we're going to be moving up or downwards. And also a thing I said in yesterday's video is that Bitcoin created this very quick wick towards the downside, and like 9 out of the 10 times, Bitcoin tends to be filling up the liquidity because usually there's a lot of loose liquidity in the market if it moves so fast, and that is exactly what happened. We took out the liquidity, and after that, we bounced towards the upside. So one thing I'm still a little bit worried about is of course the Bitcoin funding rates. They remain to be positive, what basically means that there are more overweighted long positions in the market than short positions, what of course also means that if there are more long positions in the market, it's more likely that we're actually going to go down here. This is a thing I'm still a little bit worried about, and as soon as this is going to be flipping neutral or even negative, that is the point I'm going to start to become a little bit more confident that we are going to be having that bounce here. Then a thing I quickly want to be saying before you forgot it, we still also got a Bitcoin CME gap sitting around 40.4k. I don't necessarily think that this has to happen, but I just want to be pointing it out on today's video. And then of course, I mean, once again, I said it before, the biggest resistance is $44,000, and I'm gonna be pointing this out right now as well. So this green box right here I'm currently gonna draw is going to be the biggest support for Bitcoin, and what I am currently expecting, I will be exactly telling to everyone out there what I'm currently expecting for the Bitcoin price action. So this green box right here is going to be the biggest support for Bitcoin, and honestly I think that Bitcoin is going to see some consolidation in this exact region. And where is it going to be bouncing from? I think it's going to be bouncing from of that $39,000 level. Why? Is because I've said this several times before on the channel, just like I explained how important this top sign of resistance is here on a live stream, and of course on numerous videos. I want to be pointing out how important this level of support is. So you can see, of course, many times before we found support, but that is not the important part here. I mean, the important part is that, of course, Bitcoin, once it created this massive crash towards the downside, it broke below this level, and that is what it got initiated. And of course, it got rejected here from the top side, and that is also what it initiated the move here. So these are two very important points in the market, and that is why I will be approaching this as two very important points in the market. And I will be expecting that once again, it will once again just provide very important support for Bitcoin this time around. So these are the levels I'm looking closely at, and that is also why I've currently set up numerous orders around these levels on the lower side. But you have to also understand, on yesterday's video, I made an emerging video here on my channel. If you haven't seen it yet, make sure to check it out. But basically in this video, I showed you guys that I was setting up new trades here, and that is why I was uploading this important video. While Bitcoin was sitting on 41,000 US dollars, I was already expecting this move towards the downside. Of course, already while we were trading higher. But yeah, unfortunately, I just only got a partial fill, and that means that I'm only like entered with like 0.1% of my trade here. What basically means that I'm only entered with a, 2 or 3% of my trade, what is pretty unfortunate because Bitcoin moved so fastly back towards the upside, because so many people actually saw this as an interesting level, because many traders are looking at this level, and that is why Bitcoin bounced so quickly from it. That is basically literally what happened. So pretty unfortunate. We're still making $500. I mean, honestly, like 10 years ago, I would have thought $500, that's a lot. Now I don't feel like this is a necessarily good trade here, but honestly, once again, it is good for my analysis that it is once again working. And honestly, I'm going to keep these trades open in case Bitcoin is going to come down again here. In that case, I potentially would change my mind about the scenario and the targets. So make sure to look at my Twitter, and of course subscribe to the YouTube channel right now if you want to be staying up to date on my trades, because potentially I'm going to be closing out on this trade or moving my stop loss to profit or whatsoever. If you want to be staying up to date, you just have to subscribe to the channel. If you actually want to be trading yourself as well, make sure to go to the link description of today's video, because currently we have got an insane deposit bonus running here on BYBIT, because you can currently claim a free 1,000 US dollar airdrop position on BYBIT. So it's a free 1,000 US dollar trade, and all you need to do is sign up an account using that link below in today's video, complete KYC, and deposit $100 in your first 7 days. So that is super valuable. You could claim this free trade either on Bitcoin, Ethereum, or Pepe, whatever you want. You can check it out on today's link of the description. And of course, also another partner of the channel is Phemex. Phemex is completely similar to BYBIT, only you do not need to do KYC, and they have currently got a deposit bonus of 10% cashback. So whatever you deposit, you get 10% extra. So make sure to check it out on Phemex. Phemex allows you to trade without KYC, so check it out on today's link or description of today's video. Further on, we can currently see that Bitcoin has indeed bounced exactly from off this upward sloping support line that we have been creating. I mean, previously around it was a resistance line. Currently, it is acting as support, what is quite interesting. And honestly, so many people got caught off guard here on the top side, while I literally was bullish in this entire trend towards the upside. And this was the point I turned back. So, while I saw also some other people turn bearish on 35k, I just turned bearish on the top side. And you can just see it on my channel what I uploaded here. So that is, of course, pretty important to be knowing. And why? Is because I have said this several times before. Once Bitcoin consolidates on the top side of a parabolica and creates this rising wedge structure, it usually is a very bearish thing here. So yeah, I mean, I've been trading Bitcoin for over 7 years already right now, almost 8 years. In February 2024, it's going to be literally 8 years. So time is flying by for me. And honestly, this is a very typical structure Bitcoin creates many times before. So if you want to be a winner, you just have to be doing a lot of research, and you just have to be long in the market. I think that's the most important part, because now I just recognize these moves, whatever happens. So also looking, of course, at the Bitcoin halvings, it is just a couple months away from now on. And honestly, guys, I have said this several times before. If you know, you know, but usually months or weeks before the halving, Bitcoin tends to see a slight little correction. So actually, once the halving is there, like usually 1 or 2 weeks later, is the best buying opportunity you'll probably get in the entire pre-bull run phase here. So that is what I'm going to be waiting for as well here, to open up massive new long positions. I mean, of course, I'm going to be doing some new swing trades, but I want to be waiting for a good entry. I mean, if Bitcoin really crashes down right now here and I see a good opportunity, I would embrace it with both hands. And of course, you will be the first one to know on the channel if that were to be happening. And of course, guys, if we're going to be looking at the resistance heat map here on Bitcoin, this resistance map I literally made while Bitcoin was sitting around 20 or 25,000 US dollars. And honestly, it has been helping me quite a lot here. I just identified all the most important levels for Bitcoin. And I think 43.2k is definitely one of those important levels, but 46.8k is the top side of the region, and that is the most important level of that region. So 46.8k is going to also be a very important level we should be looking at, just like 43.2k is here. So guys, keep your eyes wide open on all these levels right now in the market. But honestly, this remains to be my expectation. I mean, the Bitcoin spot ETF window is about to be coming, and I expect that if we're in that window, Bitcoin is probably going to be pumping again. So while we are currently coming down a little bit there, and I shorted this move towards the downside, I catched a long position because I think that the narrative and Bitcoin is going to become a little bit more bullish, but potentially first we could see some consolidation for Bitcoin. So I expect some consolidation, and once we're about to be entering the window, we're going to see some pushes towards the upside. Once it gets accepted, I think just days later, we're going to see a slight little decreasement because people are thinking, oh, Bitcoin is now moving that big towards the upside. Okay, now I can sell, because a lot of people probably entered the market just in order to trade the ETF approval window and in order to speculate on the ETF approval. So yeah, a lot of people have come in the market for that, and I think that Bitcoin potentially could dump then a little bit here, but those are going to be the best buying opportunities, especially before the Bitcoin and around the Bitcoin halving. I think Bitcoin is a very, very good buy in terms of opening big leverage long positions. So I think still we are going to go higher, and in what time horizon? It's probably going to be in the coming 20 to 30 days. That where Bitcoin is going to set new highs here. That is at least what I expect. So yeah, this is my prediction. This is my forecast. Guys, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. That will be absolutely amazing. On today's video, I went a little bit more in depth about what I'm expecting for the midterm here. So guys, if you do like the content, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. And I see you guys on the next one. Peace out. Goodbye.